Peace, peace. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Of course, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. I want to speak about the direct correlation of, the colors of crystals and how they work with us throughout our day. I think about starting my day off, and I did a video about this, like starting my day off with more like root chakra type of crystals, but crystals that kind of, deal with giving me vitality, bringing things into action, because when you're starting off the day, it's just like the sun, the sunshine rising. Matter of fact, again, shout out to, Archangel Uriel, aka the flight boss, for bringing up, this situation where he's speaking of like where instead of actually like heaven being above us, like he was like heaven is under us, and like explaining that basically, in which I done not indirectly spoke to this, like where we probably in a certain bubble, in a certain chakra. But the way he was explaining was basically like us being in the root chakra and being what we would call upside down. So like picture ourselves being in a body, and being in the root chakra of a body. And, when we see the sun as rising and like, oh, it's morning time, that's actually the sun returning back to the root chakra, going down into the body of, of God or into source or whatever God we, in, within this little realm of existence, not just the general source of all that is, as above, so below. We on a body, or in a body would be something of the God that has to deal with earth and not just God itself. But anyway, when the sun is quote unquote rising, it's just that energy returning back to the root chakra. And then when we think the sun is setting or quote unquote going down, the sun is actually rising back up, that being, so again, so in essence, again, like what you're saying, like what we consider to be up is really down in essence. Now what we consider to be the heavens or whatever is really, under us in this realm of existence, in this 3D realm, Definitely check out his video to go look at that. As a matter of fact, that's why it resonated with me, because I'm like, damn. And that's why I see, like, bro, the importance of us, it's soon time for some of us to come together and start building on these concepts, man. Because, like, when he said, I'm like, bro, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, man, I love to just run it with him. Because that's why I'm really, at with it. Like, of course, sometimes, and I have to catch myself of not, like, forcing. A lot of times, of course, it is going with the flow of, like, making material that people could resonate with. But for the most part, I like being in that realm of, that high existence and, those things that seem like they're so out there, but really not, because we are out there, but back to the correlation with, with certain crystals where, certain crystals, say for instance, waking up using the crystals for the root chakra / solar plexus. Root chakra, sacral, solar plexus area, but that's mostly red crystals, Matter of fact, colors that kind of deal with, like, the heat or summertime or the sun, what I'm saying? And that energy deals with action. And when we think about, heat, like whenever we hot, we're able to move. Whenever we get cold, we get rigid and we barely want to, we start shaking, the bones start chattering, it's hard to, things slow up when it's colder. But like you see that direct correlation, because right now I'm seeing that, like, and another thing too, working with your crystals intuitively, because I start off the day working with citrine, carnelian, garnet, crystals like that. And then as the day go on, I'm switching through them, come through the middle of the day, I'm probably working with something like again, almost like going through the color spectrum from hot to cold, where midday I'm at somewhere of like a earthy vibe, which is kind of mixed with I have like some green crystals, so it's kind of like the heart chakra. So moving from that red, yellow, and green. I mean, you're moving from red, yellow, and green. Moving from like the red, orange, and yellow area to that green area. But like I be dealing more like so. After I done got the day started and stuff like that, I start working with crystals that kind of allow for me to, kind of still be in the physical, realm of things, but more on a relaxing, go with the flow vibe. So like midday, like a petrified wood, moss agate, like a certain jasper that might create some type of grounding, but just something to kind of just, ground me, keep me in that little mid space. And then towards the night time, I start to work with, the blue crystal, the blues, the clears, the purples. So going into those high chakras, because nighttime, it's less about being quote unquote nighttime. It's less about a lot of physical activity to a certain extent. Some of us be doing our thing in the bedroom or whatever the case may be, but for the majority, it's less physical activity towards the night, but towards the night, that's when metaphysical activity spike. We always talk about the witching hour, like between, which I'm giving a broad range, but between 12 midnight to about 4 in the morning, that veil starts to thin in these hours, So like around that time, I start working with crystals that amplify my metaphysical abilities and amplify, like that connection to spirit guides, high self. So right now I'm working with Dambarite, Petalite, got my Azurite, my Super 7 Amethyst, Lapis Lazuli, Blue Apatite, Then I still got my little petrified wood kind of stemming for for that little earthy grounding, vibration. But again, like going through the color spectrum from hot to cold, just like the day, goes from hot to cold. And you see like as above, so below. The energies, that go on inside me directly correlate to the energies that go on outside of me and vice versa. When working with your crystals, let it be something, intuitive, what you're gravitating toward, what you feel like working with, instead of like watching a video and Universal say, start with citrine. Well, do you feel like does citrine really, help you start off your day? You know what I'm saying? Which of course, citrine would, and I couldn't think of, an instant where, like, well, depending on what you got planned, but again, like, it'll be hard to think of an instant that citrine would be like, hindering in that manner, But it is to each his own and what we feeling in the moment, what's best for us. But I do see that direct correlation of, waking up, starting with the, the hot crystals in essence, the crystals with the red, the oranges, or the, oh wait, what's that, something that dropped? The red, the yellow, and the orange crystals. Let me make sure. All right, yeah, that dropped. Yeah, so what was I? Yeah, starting with the, the hot colored crystals again, waking up, starting that day, wanting that vitality. And again, you see that direct correlation, to hot and cold, to Aries, from Aries to Capricorn. And I even say Aries to Cap, because matter of fact, Cancer is kind of like that opposite of Capricorn, but no matter of fact, in Tropic of Cancer, even though Cancer is a sun sign, a moon sign, in the elliptical, when the sun is in Cancer, that's summertime. That's when we have the most daylight, in essence. Matter of fact, the crab was used as a description of the Christ energy in some hieroglyphs, because of the fact that like a crab, when it's at like the edge of, where the water is rolling in, where the tide rolling in, it's connected to all the elements, like the earth, the water, the ethers, the air, all at that little area of the ocean, all those elements meet up. In fact, I forgot how they described it. I forgot, but it's like the sea foam. It's like something about connecting with the foam of the sea. Because as a matter of fact, yeah, it was the sunlight was like the fire, because when a crab is like, kind of out of the water, in essence, to be on earth. So you got it out of the water enough to be touching earth, so that's one element, earth. Then the sun shining on it, fire, being close to the ocean, water, because you're not all the way in the water. The air aspect is still touching the crab. And then, just the ether aspect. But I want to say Verakasha, forgot that name. I did a video on that a while back. But anyway, but you see how, these temperatures correlate with, zodiac signs, crystals, the quote unquote times of the day. But all of that is a direct correlation. So, you may find it beneficial to kind of go with that flow of, starting the day off with the quote unquote hot crystals and moving into working with the cold crystals. That's basically it, y'all. Peace. Matter of fact, at old LSU, matter of fact, at the library, the library with a building named after the virgin that didn't want black folk up here. Something Middleton. Guess he changed his mind whenever he saw how we play sports and how sports bring in revenue. He had second thoughts. Like, you know what? Let those old Negro boys come to school over here. Make us some good national championship money. Blessings. Peace, peace, y'all. Happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past. Right now.